You are listening to the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast. And we've got returning guests today because our returning guests have big news and big announcements and have made big progress. Welcome back from Zavy360 co-founders Scott Rotten and Gerald. Ciao, how are you both?
Fantastic. Thank you for having us.
Doing great, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yay. And so we are recording this just a few days prior to publishing it because we're getting this out there in time for ADX here in Melbourne at the end of March. And it's all happening at the end of next week. So we're all very, very excited about it. But we had you on this program originally back in October 2022. And that was my first exposure to Zavy360. And I was extraordinarily impressed. Of course I would be, because it's a magnificent tool and it does a whole bunch more things than the traditional practice management software programs. And everyone keeps calling them PMSs, but in my brain, being a woman, PMS means something wildly different. So I tend to read out the whole word, the whole line. But and since then as well, Mina and I have got our dental practice management program and we're tapped into many, many people through the students there. And a lot of people are whispering, Zavy360, Zavy360, it looks fantastic. So I'm excited about what changes you've actually implemented into it since October last year. So first of all, for those that are unaware of Zavy360, can either of you provide a brief outline?
Gerald?
Okay. So dental practice management software has been around for, 20, 30 years? And I suppose what's got myself and Chris Ho, Dr. Chris Ho, wants to do is really reinvent and create something that's more radical. And today, I think you'll find out why we're called Zavy360. And really the whole idea is that, we've sort of recognized that practice management tools traditionally are just record keeping. It's just a tool to run the business. We want to take it further so that it's actually going to do more for healthcare, for patient experience, for automations. We recognize that the expectations of technology has changed, especially since COVID. Definitely, people are working from home, people are working everywhere, people are time poor. So really, we sort of want to recreate practice management system. And just like some of the demos we've been doing this week, it's all about, looking at every specific feature and go, can we do the calendar book better? Can we do the humble notes taking better? Can we do the KPI reporting and so forth? So really, we're sort of now at a point where we sort of felt that we've caught up with all the major competitors, and going into the ADX, we're actually going to share what Zavy360 is all about, the exciting stuff. We kept talking about practice management as the boring things that we have to make, because that's kind of what dentists and clinicians and receptions are expecting. But I think going forward, we are really going to set the standards and really sort of push the envelope in sort of how practice management can be even better.
Magnificent.
Definitely agree.
Because it really has been all around the patient clinical notes charting and getting them to pay book appointment times. And that's been what it has been. I suppose you could, suggest that it's really fulfilling a clinical and receptionist role. Everything that happens in the surgery goes into the practice management software, and everything the receptionist does, traditionally making appointment times, taking payments, that's all done within our standard practice management software programs as well. But you're right. I mean, many practices have been starting to adopt other systems such as customer relationship portals and social media software, communications, advertising, all these other things, KPI management softwares, to be able to do more because they've needed to do more because it's very time intensive, the practice management side of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, completely agree. And like Gerald says, it's all about systems previously have all been about getting business through the door, checking KPIs and getting patients in the chairs and getting them seen. And management systems have been doing that very well for the last 30 years. But at a point, we need to start reinventing the wheel. We need to look at what else can we do outside of that. Every system should, worth its weight, should be able to do that. But what else? There's more than one interaction in this relationship. There's the patient side of things as well. When you go in as a patient, you're still getting, people are still printing you off forms to fill out, and they're still giving you treatment plans to sign with pen and paper. And when you've left the surgery, the kids have started drawing all over the back of it, and then you're trying to find it the next day. Where's that gone? You can't find that anymore. So we need to start looking at it from the other angle now, not just from the practice experience, but from the patient's experience. And luckily enough, first and foremost, I'm a patient, not a doctor. So I sort of know when I go and see a doctor, when I see a dentist, I know what I want to get out of the experience. So it's actually easier for us as patients to design the next part of the system, which we're gonna be revealing at ADX, and obviously to you as well.
So I'm gonna want to be one of the first people to know it.
Pretty much, you are.
That feels totally appropriate.
So it's a world exclusive. Okay, so yeah, just sharing this screen. So Zavy360 was designed to be practice management side of things. It's also designed to be like a business analyst tool because practice management is growing the business. Also, it's designed to be a patient management system as well as a patient interaction system. So we call it the practice management ecosystem, not just the practice management software. And we found that a lot of systems will integrate with another system because it's hard to do something, maybe it's hard to do reviews, or it's hard to do analytics. It's hard to create flexible reports, but it's only hard from a developer side of things. It should be, and having it all contained within a single system makes it easier from a user perspective, but not from a development side. So you'll find that a lot of systems will interact with another system purely for that reason, that it's easier for them. But we can't manage the experience from start to finish. So what we've tried to do is we think about a feature in a way that if not 80 to 90% of our customers are going to use this feature, it shouldn't be an external feature. It should be an internal feature. If 20% of the customers are going to use it, then we can look at outsourcing it to, an integration, for instance, purely because we want to be able to manage that experience from start to finish the way that we like to do it. So this is the dashboard, and we'll come back to this as we go through. This is one of the newer features that we've released since we last spoke, but I'll just go through like a patient journey. So if we go to the calendar, we've got our appointments in here. And again, what we always try and do it, we don't try to rewrite the wheel or to reinvent the wheel for features that have been done many, many times over. But what we try to do is evolve it slightly. So at the minute, what we're looking at here is pretty much a completed day's worth of appointments, all randomly generated, as you can see by the random notes in there. But you can see that when we complete an appointment, it changes to green. Such a minor little feature that probably doesn't make, people don't care about it too much. But what the purpose of it is, when you're looking at a calendar, and if you can see colors like this red one here and this orange one here, it means it hasn't been checked out properly. So it's an indication to front desk to say, hey, go and check that because there's probably an error with your process when you're looking at it. So every little thing we do, we always think about what are we showing on screen? What can we indicate to the front desk staff or the customer to make sure that their life is going to be done properly? So we go through, you can click on an appointment. It gives you all the information in here. And this is like the quick navigation around the system. We can go over to treatment plans. There's no treatment plan for this patient, so you can create a new one, assign it to someone, link it to an appointment, and then open the chart. The chart will go in, and we've now got our chart. Now, obviously, since the last time we spoke, we made quite a few little adjustments, but ultimately, the reason why we designed the chart to make it as lifelike as possible is because of what we're about to release as well in the patient app. We want the patient to see this, and we want them to relate to what's going on in their mouth. For instance, I'll do a quick treatment plan. Let's say we'll select all wisdom teeth and mark them as missing, and then we're going to tip the 1-7 towards the mesial. We'll add a fracture on the 1-6, and then we're going to propose an extraction on the 1-7, as well as a crown on the 1-6. Very basic treatment plan, and I'll just add a quick check up and clean in there as well. So now we've just added 7 item codes in there. We've done a basic chart with a proposed treatment. Now, in the patient app, which we're going to look at soon, when I present this in the patient app and the patient can see it in the chair and sign it again, which we're going to cover, they can see why this tooth's getting removed. They can see it's rubbing against the 1-6. Yeah. So they're not going to ask lots of questions, where most systems, you've got these, I mean, we do have them in here. I can probably show you. We've got these graphical charts and things, and the teeth are, because the teeth are lifelike, they can relate. They know that this is a canine, so they can see things in the mouth and picture it in there. So that's why we that's why we created this lifelike chart.
And it's fantastic. That lifelike chart is fantastic, and being able to customize it to the patient in terms of tipping teeth, etc. Beautiful. I mean, we are talking about, we're already speaking a language that patients are unaware about and uneducated about. So whatever we can do, any step that we can take to help engage them and help them understand more deeply as to what's going on for them is wonderful.
Exactly, yeah. And then you can create, I mean, I'll do a quick treatment plan. I'm not going to spend too long on it because we want to get on to the interesting stuff. But if we go into here and create a treatment plan, you do a quick plan or an advanced plan, and you can go and you can customize it and send that out, and you can include the chart on it and things. And you can SMS the plan to the patient. They can receive it from a dedicated number. They can respond back to it, which was the sort of old way of doing it. But they can also get it in their app now as well. And not just their plan, they can also get their family's plan. So if you've got like 3 or 4 children and you want to see all the plans at once, you'll be able to see that in there too. Recalls. So I can't remember if we spoke about a recall system previously, but we've got our recall system now, which works with pre-booking. So it's completely automated. It's like having an automated assistant. So you turn it on, and I probably don't have anyone set for this month or next month. Let's see if I've got any. No. But basically it will sit and it will just go through and it will trigger everyone that's due for a recall, and it will check every day and it will send them a message out, and it will do a full set of automation tasks, which I'll send you some videos of how that works. But it works very seamlessly, and it adds people to different lists. So you've got your due list. So people that are due to come in this month or today, it will move them to in progress once you started the recall automation progress. And then complete, if someone books online or you book them in, they go into the complete list. And then finally drop off. So this is the churn or the attrition. Basically, patients that are no longer going to come in will go into this list. And this is the only time we expect you to interact with the drop off list. We've got a new chat feature. So that's all listed in here, and you can respond and you can do quick responses via our snippets and things within here.
I want to be a receptionist again, just looking at that. That active SMS from the desktop, from the computer software perspective, that is just golden. Where do those SMS messages get stored? Does it create a note that we've had that communication with the patient?
Yeah, of course. So it goes into the patient's records here. So it goes as a like a global chat log. So it doesn't matter which system you're in. Let's say if I went into the patient's record, if I was in someone else's patient's record, someone responded, there'll be a little badge here. I can click on this and it will pop out at any point. But if I was in the specific patient record, like here's me, Mr. Scott Rotten, so let's find me in the patient list. What it does is it also shows in the communication section here, but it also shows not just the SMSs that were received, but any emails that were sent out. Well, I don't have any emails, but it will show emails and letters as well in like a long
That is so
like
beautiful.
audit trail. So yeah, it's pretty intelligent. Just being able to find everything in a single spot works really well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and then we've got our diagnostic imaging. So I don't have any images uploaded. Let me try and grab a couple. Let's see if I've got some samples in here. Let's do 3. So this is the diagnostic imaging. Now, it allows you to do basic things like you can select multiple images, you can drag and drop to resize, you can calibrate images, so you can do like live online measurements. And this is all built into the system, so it still integrates with third-party tools if you prefer it to.
Yeah.
But you can do measurements, you can do levels and zoom in and contrast and all the rest of it. So if you wanted to do this on the go, like we've got quite a few mobile dentists now that use the software, this is perfect for them because you don't need to install any other software. It just works with pretty much any Twain capable device. So that's all pretty cool. So yeah, we've got the sterilization tracking in here as well. So you can add sterilizers, you can add tracking information all from within the system. And we've got a new report system. Pretty sure we didn't have the new report system in there as well. So the reports allows you to go and group report. Basically, this is like a version of Excel built into a software. So if you don't like the way something looks, you can just move it around on screen. So it's a really flexible report. One of the things we found is we get super tired of, we've onboarded from 10 different softwares now. And when someone comes on board, they expect the report to work and look exactly the same as it was in their previous system because they don't want to change the brain to how it thinks. And I completely get it. When I moved from Windows to Mac, I hated it. I was like, this is the worst system. I can't believe any of you guys like it. Does not work for me. And then eventually it grows on me and I started to get to like it. But that transition period was quite frustrating. So one of the things we've found is that people want basically the data we've got in our report is what they want, but it's in a slightly different format to what they're used to. Maybe it's not grouped correctly or a column's in a different location. So what we allow you to do is just move things around and change it the way you want. So if you want to like move things to the left or the right, you can do that. We can pin things here. We can group by method. So if you want to show all of the transactions grouped into a single line, you can do things that way. You can then from here create custom charts. So if there's a chart obviously we come with pre-built charts, but if there's something you don't want, you want to create your own chart, select, right click, chart, grouped, and then you'll see you've created your own custom chart in there as well.
That's what it seems like at every step, ask yourself, can I make it more user-friendly? Can I make it more user-friendly? And you keep allowing that to happen so I can really customize it to what I want to see.
Exactly, yeah. So it works it's a benefit for everyone because ultimately our support staff don't want to answer the same question over and over again. And it's not useful for them or for the practice that's onboarding because, they should be doing other things with their time. So we did this and we've created actually an online training academy, which we'll come to as well after, which I completely forgot. But it's one of the ways that we're trying to find the most efficient way to do everything. And that's, this is just one of those examples. How can we make it as customizable as humanly possible so everyone can get what they want out of the system? Our developers don't have to spend time writing 400 reports because this one report can do 200 different things. So that's how we sort of work. Okay, so I'll go over to the dashboard because we will probably run out of time if we keep talking too much. So let's go to the dashboard. So this is a new thing that we're about to release. So this is grabbing all the data live. Now you'll have to excuse the data. It's randomly generated. But what we found is that I was interviewing, like our co-founder Chris has got a staff member that goes around all of his practices, gathers all the data from all the different systems that it's got because it's not just a single system. We're in the process of migrating everyone across to Zavy, but not everyone's there yet. So they have to collate all the data from these different practices. And there's a person's job who's in there trying to find out how much production a business has made, how much has been paid, how much is scheduled. And we found there's a better way to do it. So we built our new dashboard system to incorporate all of that. Now, keep in mind that we can run this based if you're a group business as well. So if you've got 20 or 30 different businesses under your umbrella, We can run all this information and we can separate it by group. But the first widget we've got is the standard one, which is the business production report. So it shows how much was scheduled, how much has been produced, how much is invoiced, how much is paid. We can also set goals or targets. So it's a bit hard to see with this color, but if I go on here, I can create a minimum target and a required or a good target from there. And it's easy. You just go in, you create a line, you can add a label to it and say, bonus round, and you can put that in here. So we also noticed that a lot of customers were adding targets in their graph. So each graph is customizable and you can add those targets within there. They're also interactive. So you can focus in on certain areas and you can move them around. So you can actually make them bigger or smaller and resize the widgets on the screen as well.
Amazing.
So there's this is the standard production one. We've got our appointment status one. So this is as a practice looking at all of the different appointments. And what we're using this one for is to see how many cancelled appointments, how many late cancellations, and how many completed, as well as the total number. So the number for this day is 40. There were 3 cancelled, 25 complete, 2 late cancellation, and 1 missed, which is indicated by the red. So you obviously want to be keeping a close eye on how much red versus how much green. Ideally, again, everything in the system's green, red, or we try and color code everything. Yeah. So green, high, red, as minimal as possible. And if you see numbers of red growing, we need to start looking at the internal processes. How are we confirming the appointments? How will we present ourselves to new patients? And we've got little widgets that we can take a look at down here as well. This is a similar one. So if you were looking at this and you were finding that you're getting more and more missed appointments or cancelled appointments, you could go down to this one and you can try and pinpoint where are those appointments coming from. Is it a specific practitioner? So this is the same as the previous widget, but it's telling us the practitioner names on the left-hand side of the screen. Great. So if Robert is getting a load of cancelled appointments, maybe we need to have a look at Robert and see what's going wrong in that process. Is it just a coincidence, or is there something going wrong with the patient experience?
Yeah.
Practitioner rebook rate, which is again very important. So how many unique patients have been and seen a specific practitioner, and how many of those patients have booked a future visit? So we want this to be around 80% or higher. Again, it's a demo database, so no one's really got more than 20%, but it's just a useful tool to see who's performing well, who isn't. And if you start to spot all the cancelled appointments and all of the poor rebook rate pointing to a single provider, then that means we can take action and maybe retrain or look at how we can improve that.
And all of this side of things, this has really been over the last few short years, that additional stuff that has taken usually a practice manager or receptionist or practice owner so much time to track and then put it into Excel, for example, so you can actually go through steps of monitoring all this information. And it's such a laborious thing that it just doesn't get done. But now practices can actually get this done. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, or many dental related, and I hear sometimes, especially from overseas, I asked, as a consultant saying, I asked a dentist at a local seminar, what's your cancellation rate, or what's your low production rate, or your case acceptance rate? What's your case acceptance rate? And they don't know. How crazy. They don't even know. And I'm thinking, of course they don't know. It's hard to get that information and then look at it so regularly that it's right there in the top of mind. But this is what really helps. This is an aspect that absolutely will shift and transform how your practice can start achieving its goals.
Exactly. So if you think about it, we bill based on how many practitioners or how well a company is doing ultimately. If you've got lots of practitioners, you're ultimately doing quite well. So it makes sense for us to offer this so a practice can grow their business so we can get more money. So it's like it's a synergy. The more practitioners you've got, the more we get paid, and vice versa. So it really does help in that side of things.
I like it.
Yeah, funny enough, today we demoed Zavy360 to somebody, and they went down the trouble of getting a third-party developer, write their own dashboard and so forth. But the problem with that is obviously is the cost and the time. But if your primary software get updated, you have to again go back to the developer and, fix it, patch it up. So whereas for us, obviously, it makes sense for us to represent the data, and also allow you to drill down into specifics.
Yeah. It feels like finally we're here. You know what I mean? Finally, this part's easy.
Yeah. And the other good thing about as well is we take a lot of our ideas from the features that are coming next aren't just something I've dreamed about, although a few of them are, but not all of them. It's normally what people have messaged us and said, hey, it'd be great to have this, or I'm doing this, and we're like, a lot of people can benefit from that. So we put it in the software, and then we all grow as a family, really, because we do know everyone individually that comes on board, and we sort of do work with everyone very closely. So it is quite a cool thing to watch the system grow, but also watch all the startup businesses that are using it, watch them grow as well. We've got some startup businesses that started from absolutely nothing, and there's no gaps in their appointment book. They can't even talk to me anymore because they're just absolutely chocker.
That's good. Get back in that.
It's a good thing. Get back in that surgery and get some work done. But yeah, we've got a few more statistics. So your again, basically how many complete appointments versus cancelled and cancellation rates. You've got your first patient visit versus existing, so you can see how if there was patient churn in here, you'll be able to see how well you're tracking with new patients versus patients that are leaving, so if you're actually growing or shrinking as a business, not just financially, but as a total turnover. And then we've got your marketing area. So where are the patients coming from, and who are you assigning those patients to? So no practitioner means the patients are coming in, but no one's assigned them to a specific provider yet. If there's a practitioner name there, it tells you that the patients are being assigned to a specific practitioner, and the different colors are where those patients came from. So Facebook ads, vouchers, and all those sorts of things are linked within here. And then we've got practitioner utilization. So these areas here are the green areas are basically a fully booked or a very intensely booked appointment book. Red is empty, and yellow or orange is sort of mediocre, fulfilled appointment books.
I really do like the visual aspect of it, because you're telling a story without using a bunch of words.
Yeah.
And a bunch of words and figures, it just becomes a mess in your brain. You have to be looking at that stuff for a long time, very frequently, to have it make sense. And, like I always talk about, it's like a beautiful mind. All of a sudden, after years of looking at it all, it starts to make patterns to you. But this is better. We already know how to look at these sort of images and how to assess images, so it's great.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, a few. Yeah, so then we've got the just practitioner hourly rates, which is broken down in here. So these are these are actually the second variation of the widgets that we've added in there. Now we've got this base structure added in. We'll start adding more widgets in there, more obscure ones. Obviously, you've got your standard reports, which has things like acceptance rates, and it's really detailed. But the purpose of these widgets is not to go into every little granular detail and find out every little bit of information. It's meant to be a glance. I want to see how we're doing today, this week, this month, or the last 12 months. Are we getting better, worse? And then from there, you go into the reports, and that's where you get to the real finer details and really customize the way that it all works. So yeah, that's what we've been busy with recently, among the other things. I'll see if I can get the patient app up, actually. Mm-hmm. But bear with me. I'm just going to have to turn my camera off.
Go for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is an older build. There's actually quite a lot more stuff in here now, but we'll show the old build anyway, but just we ran out of time today. But yeah, this is the first showing of, we call it My Zavy, and it's basically the app that's going to help you interact with your patients, really. And as a family member, you'll be able to manage your entire family's appointments, their invoices, attachments, treatment plans.
And so the patients download the app.
Correct, yeah. So the patient gets downloads this app. And when we were designing the app, because obviously this has been tried before in different scenarios, and one of the things that I used to hate is, my doctor's got an app, my chiropractor's got an app, everyone's got a separate app, And there's that many, because you have so many different services and you see so many different people, it's just everything's everywhere. And what we thought is, we already designed Zavy360 to be multi-industry, multidiscipline, and we wanted to create something where it's super convenient to have all of your information in a single spot. So what you can do is if you're a part of multiple practices, let's say you've got a dentist, which is about smiles, and then you've got an electrician who's using the app, or you've got a salon that uses the app, or a chiropractor. You can have a single app, be linked to all of those different providers, and then have all of your information in a single spot, kind of like LinkedIn or Facebook. So everything's in a single app. You don't have to download 5 different apps to look at your different businesses. It's all in one area.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we've got via the app, when you first log in, you'll see your linked practices, and if there's multiple, they'll be listed there. You can go in, and from here you can either book appointments is disabled, but you can go in, you can call the practice, you can get directions to the practice from there. You can see all the practitioners that are assigned. You can change information on your profile, and then it will update the practice as well. So if you change your address or you change your information, pop it in here, and then it will update the practice information too.
Wow.
You can change your preferences. Yeah, so that's because obviously we were doing that already.
It's like magic, because I have no idea how it happens, and I can't imagine a world that it does. So it has to be magic.
Yeah, it's pretty much magic or very quick programming. But yeah, you can link all your family members in here, and that's how you decide who's going to see what. And then from here, and you can also remove a practice. So obviously, maybe you don't want to be contacted. Maybe you left the practice and you don't want to receive their information or their marketing, or however, you don't want to receive any of that information. You're in full control. You can just remove a practice from the app. So there's that. We also have like a dashboard. So when you log in, anything that's upcoming will be listed in here. So if you had any upcoming treatment plans or forms, or here I've got an upcoming appointment, I can click on it, takes me to the appointment screen, and I can check all the information and just confirm it. And that's live confirming the appointment on the practice side of things. So that's now gone into the practice app and confirmed it at the practice address. And again,
amazing.
If you have like unpaid bills and things, you'll be able to pay them through the app as well. Let's go to the treatment plans. Let's go into here, see if I've got any accepted. So here are my accepted treatment plans. I've got one in this area. So in the background, you can see that's a live picture of the children's teeth. And then we're still working on this, but I've already accepted this plan. But yeah, you can go in here and you'll be able to see more information about the treatment area and the plan, so on from there. And let's go back. You can actually look at, again, if you wanted to turn on different family members, you can just go through, turn them on, and then you can see them in a list if there are any in there. And then finally, we've got the forms from within here as well. So if you've got any forms that are outstanding, you can just go through. There's probably nothing in this form, but you can go through, complete your forms straight from within the app. Now, the things that we're going to be adding in there, so these are already ready, so I might as well go through them, but I'll just stop sharing my screen so you can see me. So yeah, the things that we are adding in are the review system. So feedback and reviews are directly within the app, and it's also going to.
I was going to say, is that one of the things that they'll be able to do straight from that app, is to give you a fantastic review online?
Yeah, well, not just that. There's 2 parts to it. We call it the feedback and review system because from me, for what I feel like is more important is the feedback aspect. So I want to know what my patients are thinking. You can't get that from if someone goes and leaves you a Google review, that's great. You've got a 5-star review, you can get more patients in. But what about all the patients that left? What were they thinking? So with this app, you'll be able to leave anonymous feedback. We know that the patient's been and seen you because they can't use the app without being a part of your practice. Yeah. You can ask them 4 questions, and those 4 questions can be answered, and they can leave the feedback. If it was a bad feedback and they don't want to, they may feel guilty, or they don't want to physically tell you to your face, you can leave that anonymous feedback, and then you can then go in and do something about it. Maybe you've already lost the patient, and that's fine. But it will stop you from losing more in the future as well. So the feedback system, well, you'll be able to ask up to 4 questions. Each of those questions can be customized to however you want it. And then what we'll do is we'll give you an overall rating. And then if the overall rating matches a specific number, you'll be prompted to leave a public review if you want to go down that path. But you'll also be able to leave an anonymous review, which gives them that information, gives the practitioners that information, but they don't know who it came from.
That's fantastic. And just so you know, Scott, in case you thought we can see your face, we can't see your face.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Again, that's for the best.
That's
let me pop that on.
While you're getting it sorted, that is a really beautiful distinction that you're making, that a Google review, do not think that because you're getting lots of good Google reviews, that you're doing everything great, that there's no areas of improvement that you could be making, because you're actually not asking for feedback. You're only asking happy people for a happy review. But to really build and be on that constant and never-ending improvement journey, we need to be getting feedback about the areas that we can do better in. Doesn't mean that we're doing bad in them, but areas that we can improve upon.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, it's not letting me connect my camera, so I might have to do this one in the dark.
We've got Gerald's fabulous face. That's okay. As long as you keep making your face look interesting, Gerald. Oh, maybe you could mime. You could mime.
I'll change a photo or something.
Yeah. So I think that's. For me, that's what I want to know. I'm interested to know, how are we actually doing? It's okay, 10% of your customers, or not, if you'd be lucky if you get 10%, but a couple of percent of your customers giving you a public review. What's the other 98% thinking? And I feel like this is the key that allows us to have an insight into that.
I love it. I love it.
Obviously, then you've got your standard things like, invoices, paying invoices and looking at invoices. One of the most common things that we do is lose things as human beings. We go to a dentist, we lose every bit of paper they give us by the time we've even got in the car. So, put it all in one spot. So, you save a bit of paper and it's all in there. It's in a list format, and you never need to ask for them to print your invoice off again, or where are you with your treatment plan payments. It's all there ready for you, and we'll actually tell you. So if your appointment's coming up, you've obviously got your reminders that everyone's been doing for many years. You've got your 7 days before, your 2 days before. What about your 30 minutes before, when you're actually in a meeting? Think, oh no, I need to.
It happens. We think, gosh, we confirm people 3 times for their appointment time. Come on, how stupid are they? They still forgot. It's because we do forget, because we are slowly being conditioned into not needing to use our memory for these sort of things. We will get reminders. And so therefore, I think we possibly forget even more so now than we did before we had all this beautiful technology around. And so the 30-minute before, the 1 hour beforehand, I think a lot of people would appreciate that.
Well, this is a true story. Andrea's not going to like me telling it, but one of our developers in the office, he went to the dentist across the road, and we were always talking about how can people forget their appointments. Anyway, we were sat in here having a meeting. He gets a phone call. It's the dentist. Where are you? You're supposed to be here 10 minutes ago. If he had that little notification on his mobile, he would have remembered, but he was too in depth trying to sort out the recalls. So happens to the best of us.
It certainly does. It certainly does. So with the app, can you market directly to patients, send promos or notifications that we've got a new payment plan system in our practice now? Can you market them that way?
Yeah. So the way that we expect the app to be used is not necessarily a direct replacement to email and SMS yet. Maybe when the numbers get up there and we know how many patients are going to use it, because this is obviously quite new. But you will be able to send push notifications to the app for specific things. Now, patients can still opt out of it. It's the same as any, in our system, they can opt out of marketing anyway. They can opt out of emails, and they'll be able to opt out of push notifications. But it is in there, and you can push information to them, or you can send them marketing campaigns direct from within Zavy straight to the app without any issues.
Fantastic. Good news. It's all good news so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, the whole idea of Zavy360 is about the relationship with the patient. So, and that's really is a game plan, like 5-6 years ago, when we create the system, is designed and built to have a patient apps. But obviously, dentists need to have the confidence that this is a great system. And now that we've provided them a great system, it's time now to bring in the companion.
Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. And it takes shifting the mindset around things, shifting your expectations, shifting how you're going to be doing things. I mean, gosh, when we went from paper patient cards to digital programs, that was a completely different way of doing things. And we had to, really start being creative in our brain and stop thinking that we were limited by what we used to be limited to. And now we've got to do the same thing. The traditional practice management system out there had its limitations. Get out of that mindset, because many of those limitations are gone now.
Exactly. And over the last 5-10 years, a lot of third-party apps has come into the scene because the legacy system hasn't caught on. Whether it's the dashboard, or whether it's the bookings or whatever. But it kind of now makes sense, as Scott has mentioned, that, if you have all the data, it makes sense to just take that next step and then bridge that gap. And again, it's not about create another apps on the App Store, but really it's about the functionalities that we can do and improve the offering. And I often talk about traditional healthcare is just limited to face-to-face consultation. You only spend about maybe half an hour or even 20 minutes at the chair with your mouth open, and you can't really communicate. So, and then we recognize that, dentists then have another 5-10 people waiting for him at the waiting area. So the time that they get to actually talk and communicate is very limited. So really, this is now an opportunity to look at the whole patient practitioner's relationship and go, all right, can we digitize certain things that we can then allow them to do things better, communicate better, save paper at the same time, and automate. And so really it's about creating that value proposition so that the dentist will encourage the use of the app and make it easy for both parties to have a better experience.
And it really is such a generational thing. I mean, some of the app, for example, your 80-year-old clients probably won't want to learn how to use that and won't see the need for that. But as this current generation, they want a different relationship with their dentist, with their restaurant, with their hairdresser, with their school, with whatever. This is how they want to be messaged. They want to be messaged in an up-to-date digital way.
Exactly. Everyone's already carrying a mobile. And really it just comes down to that the practice, some, wants to go down that path, and some maybe is not, they're not ready because their clientels are, average age are 50s and 60s. That's perfectly fine. But again, we're providing a really good systems with the flexibility that, yes, we can still print your letters, we can still do the SMS, and until you're ready, we'll slowly get there.
Yeah. But it's going to be shifting. The percentage of our patient base 20 years ago that were very digital savvy was very small. Now it's much larger, and in another few years' time, it's going to be just about all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can see it when it comes to the recall communication type. Like when I was going out originally and training doctors, it would be 80 to 90% of communication would be through recall letters. I would dare say that's less than 5% now. Everything's SMS and email, and a lot of people now are even through our statistics, it's very rare that people will open emails. It's like a 60% open rate, which is very low. SMS is much higher. It's almost over the 90s. But we then believe that this can be replace email, as far as people already use push notifications. They expect to scroll down on their phone and see up to date information right there, and then if they don't like it, they'll turn it off anyway. So I feel like it's a much more modern way of doing it. It's instant. It's got all the benefits of SMS and none of the downsides.
And not to mention the hidden cost. The SMS. There's dentists who wouldn't touch SMS because it costs them extra. Why do I have to pay for a message when it's free with my mobile plan? And then there's dentists who obviously use it, and some of them even send 3 or 4 to make sure the individuals, the patients, turn up to the appointment. That cost is significant. And if we can break that barrier and, make it much more affordable, everyone's happy.
Absolutely. People are turning up to their appointment times. You're not paying so much for the reminding process. I love it.
Exactly.
So you certainly came through on your promise. Fantastic new innovations coming into Zavy360. Very, very exciting stuff. And so the expo down here in Melbourne is going to be a busy time for you guys. You're going to be doing a lot of talking, a lot of showing, a lot of demoing.
That's right. Hopefully.
What stand will you be at? What number?
394.
Stand number 394. So if there are practice team members out there, you don't have to be in the market to be purchasing or transferring over to a new dental practice management system. But what I really think you need to be aware of is what is actually available, how this space is changing so quickly, and how it can save your practice team members time, become more efficient, have a greater and deeper engagement with your patient in different ways, keeping up with the trends of the younger generations as they're coming through our practice and getting older and having children themselves. We don't want to be left behind in this space, because it would not take long at all to be left behind. I'm left behind in so many ways. I can't afford this one as well. So what have you got that's special for people that are going to be visiting your stand?
Yeah, so with our ADX, we're obviously going to have a tremendous discount with the subscriptions, as well as the onboarding, the data conversion if you're using an existing system. But for friends of Julie's, I don't know how we're going to, maybe we have to get the list from you. We'll give them whatever we put out, 50%, an additional 50%.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I didn't know about that.
So it's practically...
Scott's fallen off his chair.
I know. Bloody hell, Gerald.
Yeah, work harder.
I mean, for a start, you said it's a tremendous discount. I mean, that sounds substantial. And then on top of that, a further 50% off.
Correct.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
However,
come on,
there is one caveat.
Yeah.
There is a but. They have to be ready to make the switch within the next 90 days.
Within the next 90 days, you're ready to make that switch. I want as many people as possible coming to your stand saying, I'm a friend of Julie's. That will make me feel pretty damn good.
Popular.
Popular. That's exactly right. Well, we will figure out how to actually do that. But I think initially that's a very good thing to say. I'm connected with Julie Parker. I'm a friend of Julie Parker. Julie Parker loves me. I want those huge discounts coming my way, please. And you are effectively, you said before, there were 10 different software programs that you are transitioning people from over to Zavy360. So you're doing it already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can add on 3 things that we've done outside Zavy360 since last time we caught up. So firstly, we now have a training academy.
That's right. I was going to ask about that. That sounds good.
Yep. So the second one is the VIP onboarding. So we know how difficult and painful it is to make transition. People always talk about, last time I changed from this to that, it was, painful. Our team will do all the work. So instead of giving you just the training and off you go, and then you have to spend 20, 30 hours customizing it, and it's like, how is this going to work out, etc. Our team will do the setup for you.
Fantastic.
Create the forms, create the price list, set up all the online bookings and rostering and appointments, etc. We easily spend about 15 to 20 hours per clinic
doing that.
But this way, we take the time, save them a lot of time, and then they can just go to the learning platform and focus on the learning.
Great. Love it. Love it. And so much of a part of this, and I'm going to quickly talk about this. I know that we're running over time, but I'm going to quickly talk about this because this is important for everyone out there to understand. Some people may have already heard about it, and I also speak about it a lot. The learning competency grid. So whenever we start to learn anything new, we always move through with everything, we move through the same process. First of all, we are in unconscious incompetency. We have no idea what we're no good at. Then we move into the space that we're truly uncomfortable with, and this is the space that stops us from flipping over to the Zavy360, from learning the new thing, trying the new thing. And that is the conscious incompetency, when we become very aware of what we're not good at. Most of us detest that space. But just through practice and repetition, we move swiftly into conscious competence, where we know how to do the thing. We're just still thinking a lot about it. But we like that because we're feeling competent. And then eventually we move into unconscious competence. We're so good at it. It's second nature. We don't have to consciously think about it anymore because we know how to do the thing. And for dental practices, thinking about that's painful, but there's so many aspects of it to learn now that are different. I'm going to train my team in all these different areas. Just do it, because the feeling of discomfort around that level of incompetency is short, but the benefits that you'll receive are forever. And it's wonderful. And you get to tap into all of those features and allow your practice the ability to reach that next level of potential and success.
Exactly. And I'm quite honest to share with you, at the very beginning of Zavy360 with our journey, we lost one customer. And we learned from that mistake very quickly, is that that practice has 2 clinics, and a lot of the staff are still familiar with the old one, and they're not spending enough time. This is a new clinic. They haven't booked that many appointments. And so they end up just giving up because they forgot about how to do certain things. And then eventually they just said, it's all too hard. We're going back to the old system. And we lost that customer. And I'm quite honest to share that. But Scott and I go, how do we fix that? And Scott, do you want to share about your sort of experience with training people over the years and why we come up with this?
I might look 21, but I've been doing this for a while. So quite
a lot of experience in those 20 years.
Yeah. But one of the things I found, like, obviously the whole system was built on feedback from me training doctors on a different system, not on our system. Obviously, we've only been around for a little while. And there's different things I used to pick up when I was training people. Like, I used to find that I train in groups. I used to go out to practices around London and the whole of the UK, training different practices, and there'll be some people that pick it up instantly, and there'll be some people that didn't pick it up, and I can tell that they didn't pick it up. So I'm slowing down as a trainer, trying to make sure that everyone's getting the most out of it. And then you're looking at your watch and you're thinking, okay, I've got this much stuff to cover and very little time to do it. I can either speed up and leave the slow learners or the ones that are less confident behind. I can slow down and then watch the ones that are more confident get very little out of the sessions. And it's just not the right way to learn, because ultimately everyone learns at a different pace. And everything is, I like people to learn and then do it. You can sit there and watch 8 hours worth of videos. Unless you're actually doing it, you ain't going to learn anything. You'll think you'll know it, and then it will come to it. And you're a deer in the headlights, and that's it. On the day, you're getting stressed out, and you just can't do it. So the whole point of this training academy, the first point was to create this structure where people can learn at their own pace, in their own time, without the pressure of me bearing down over the shoulder, and without the pressure of feeling like they're slowing others down. The ones that are really quick at picking it up, they can just fly through it. They can put the videos on double speed. Like when I watch videos, I watch them at double speed, and just so I can get it done, get it over and done with, and move on to the next one. And the other thing is there's a staff shortage. Everyone knows at the minute people are moving around a lot, especially in dentistry. There's not enough staff to go around.
Yeah.
So you get new staff on board. What have you got to do? You've got to sit with them for 6 to 8 hours and babysit them to make sure they understand the software, they understand your processes. And it takes you out of action and them out of action for 8 hours at least. That's 16 hours worth of time that's wasted. you can ask them to watch these videos before they arrive at the first day of work. And you're still going to have to, monitor them and onboard them properly. But you've probably just saved yourself six hours at least doing that. And the other thing, and the final thing that I did was we created, since we last spoke, we've created hundreds and hundreds of new features. We spoke about some of the big ones, but there's just tiny little ones that, how is a practice that onboarded a year ago supposed to understand without me going back in and retraining them to every year? I can't go back and train every single practice we've onboarded. So all of the new features go straight into the online academy, and people can watch how to use them correctly. And then it's up to them if they decide if they want to use the newer features or not. But it's the best way that we've found to keep everyone up to speed as we're a rapidly growing company. And we don't want other people not to get the benefit just because they were onboarded for one of the earliest. So there's loads of different reasons why we came up with it. We found that customers really appreciate the fact that, there's a benefit to everyone. And we still do, after the main online courses, so we split them into sections like clinical, front desk, analytics. But after each of the staff have watched those courses, there's still one-on-one time as well. So you're not missing out or giving up on that human interaction with me or another specialist. You just go in, you talk to each other, and then anything that hasn't been hashed out in the videos, you can still, figure out a way to do it with personal time. So yeah, it's been a real interesting thing. I quite like doing it as well. It was quite interesting.
I love it. Wonderful. Great support.
Yeah.
So the last thing to share with you is, yes, back in August when we spoke, the frustration is, we have all these clinics who are like, oh, I love this product, but we can't convert them. So the cool thing now is, fast forward 6 months later, we've now pretty much got all the major converters built. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Windows, Exact, Oasis, Core Practice, Practica, Open Dental, Practice Works. So
I can't even imagine the problems you guys have been solving. It's so beyond my capabilities. Thank God we're all good at different things.
Yeah.
Well, that is really good news. So whatever practice software system you're using, in all likelihood, that's one of the ones that you'll be able to convert without any real issue because you've been doing it already.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, thank God the hard work's all done.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we've just getting started really, but that's fine.
Don't you worry. There's more problems around the corner for you to solve. We don't want you to get lazy.
No.
Well, that is all absolutely magnificent. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with everybody before we sign off on this episode, apart from the fact, of course, your contact details, the website are all in the show notes. Demos can be organised at any point in time, but you'll have everything set up for some demos at ADX Melbourne as well. Definitely. Anything else to add?
No, come to the ADX and meet the team.
Yeah, so at ADX we've got some Mario Kart. So if you fancy yourself a bit of a racing Mario Kart genius, then obviously come down, have a bit of fun with the team. And Gerald's got loads of prizes to win. I don't know what prizes have you got? Do you want to share them? Or?
Yes, it's Grand Prix weekend. So basically, we're going to have a leaderboard every 3 hours. The person with the best lap, they'll not just get a Zavy360 cup, a coffee mug. It's a keep cup, and also a Formula One shirt for the official Formula One polo shirt, and also the overall best driver will also get a Lego set, the Lego Techniques.
How fantastic. Oh my God, it's going to be so fun at your stand. I am going to come around. I used to play Mario Kart many years ago. I'll see if I've still got the skills.
That's it. Well, that's it. On the podcast, you have to announce the winner between me, you and Gerald.
Absolutely. It's a great idea. It'll be a special short episode to announce the winner. That's a terrific idea. We can do a quick recap of how everything went as well. So the things that listeners need to do, if you're in the area coming to ADX, go to stand number
394.
jump on Mario Kart, jump on a demo, jump onto all these new features as well, and absolutely say, I'm Julie Parker's personal friend and connection. I want all of those extra special pricing discounts. That'd be fantastic. Thank you both so very much. And also go into the show notes, obviously, and go to Zavy, Zavy360.com.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
That's the one. Go there, have a look, organise a demo, go to the stand over the weekend, have a fantastic, successful time, both of you, and thank you so much for giving me the Australia-wide exclusive to all the new special features to Zavy360. I feel very, very special and honoured indeed. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. See you at the update for the winner of the Mario Kart.
Thank you. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Julie. Bye.
Well, weren't Scott and Gerald fantastic? Zavy360 really is a powerful dental practice management system, plus more. These sort of systems are expanding to include far more features than they ever have before. So jump onto these demos and make sure that you discover how these sort of systems can really make a difference to your dental practice success. If you are interested in converting your dental practice program over to Zavy360 and you would like to take advantage of the special offer, all you need to do is be a member of the club. And so go over to their stand, let them know your name and that you are a member of the club. They'll check in with me to make sure that you are all a fully paid up member, and you will enjoy that 50% extra discount on top of all their wonderful other discounts if you join up, and you can commit to that transfer over in the time period that Gerald was talking about. If you enjoyed today's podcast, then you should come along and join the club. The club is a whole library of lunch and learns with new lunch and learns being produced all the time that help your dental team gain greater success in your systems, in your team behaviours, in your patient management, in your patient engagement, in their treatment plans. They are usually around half an hour in length, and so team members can sit down, be paid for their lunch break, eat lunch while they're being inspired, and delivered all of these insights and strategies that can be implemented so you all achieve greater levels of success. Also, Amina and I, my buddy from Dental Management Expertise, have a company, Dental Business Mastery, together. And our flagship online 1-year course for dental practice managers and dental practice owners to learn how to very successfully manage your dental practice is available. Head over to dentalbusinessmastery.com.au to find out more information, and has information about any other courses that we've got available. Also, make sure you do jump onto my website, julieparkerpracticesuccess.com.au, and you will see a whole load of free information. There are articles, the blog, downloads, templates, a whole load of things that are designed to help you overcome any specific challenge that you've got going on in your practice at the moment. If you have any suggestions of topics or guests that I can have on the podcast, please let me know. Thanks for listening.